So we're going to go through the Gemara on Daf Mem Aleph Amid Beis by the two dots.
14.
Itma. Heviu lifneim te'enim va'anavim b'seich SEUDAH. Was brought in front of them te'enim va'anavim in the middle of the SEUDAH, fruits. Amar avuna tu'unim bracha lifneim ve'ein tu'unim bracha la'achreim. It's needed a bracha beforehand, but afterwards it doesn't need a bracha, which means you'll make a eitz, and you won't make a bracha of ala eitz afterwards. How are you going to be yaitze? With bichas hamazon. Zok Rashi, mevarach lefneim the lav tveila ninu. Rashi explains very clearly that it's not a tafel. V'loy la'achreim the bichas hamazon paitrasa. So the reason why it's a bracha lefneim, we skip the Rashi. Rashi starts off before Evil lefneim te'enim va'anavim b'seich SEUDAH. V'loy la'lafes es hapas. Rashi is saying very clearly that you're not eating it to be malafes as a pass. Dim kain havalu tveila. It's tafel. Vein chaylik b'davash ein tam bracha loy lefanav loy la'achar. If you're eating it along with the pass, if you're eating jelly on bread, there's no tzad. You have to make a eitz on the jelly and then make hamaitzi on the bread. There's no such tzad. The question is, el pa'amim shabal masik es piv b'seich SEUDAH b'peris. You're going ahead and having a sweetener in the middle of the SEUDAH, b'seich SEUDAH, the Paris, between dishes sometimes, a person goes ahead and he has some fruit. So if them collect the Gemara, what's the halacha? Do you make a bracha or not? And that Rav Huna is the first day. It says, tu'unim bracha lefneim, since it's not a tafel, ve'ein tu'unim bracha la'achreim, and you don't need a bracha afterwards. Now again, we explain, because the bichas hamazon is going on that fruit. Question: what's the difference before and after? If you didn't have a mind for it, then I should make a bracha afterwards also. Why is bichas hamazon more powerful than bichas hamaitzi? Bichas hamaitzi lefneim doesn't help you. You eat a fruit in the middle, you have to make a bichas hamaitzi. Bichas hamazon, no. Why is that? Why is there a split? I don't make anything else in the middle of the SEUDAH. I made hamaitzi. I don't make a bracha on the potato cooker. I don't make a bracha on the chicken. I don't make a bracha on it. Why? Because it works for everything that you're going to be eating now till you make the bichas hamazon. So not only that, the bichas hamazon is working for what I had till now. So why is there a difference between hamaitzi and bichas hamazon? Who? So what?
After you ate it,
so this is a question asked by the Achrayim. Why is there any difference between the bracha Rishayna and the bracha Achrayna? It's so pashut to this mandama that the bracha Rishayna is considered a bracha that works just for the pass and whatever it patters, what comes along with it. But DEVARIM abayim shaloi machmas SEUDAH, we're talking about now, let's say fruit, that won't patter the bracha Rishayna. But the bracha Achrayna, that would patter. So why should there be an afkamin? So on this is brought down let's try to understand first something else, and then we'll get into this class. There's pass, a bracha on pass patters you for everything Teich SEUDAH. You eat cake and you made a mezainis. Do I have to make a bracha on shahakal that I'm eating after the mezainis? Yes. Is mezainis more chashav than shahakal? Yes. If I made a bayit pedama, I had a cucumber. Is that more chashav than shahakal? Yes. if I ate a cucumber and then I drink a cup of water, do I have to make a bracha on that cup of water? Why? This bracha is more chashuv than that one. What's the yichus of Hamaitzi? What's so special about Hamaitzi? So, Taisvis, let's clear like this. Is it a din? Is it a din that it's a SEUDAH digadin? Let's say it a little lamdish. Is it a SEUDAH digadin or it's a pas digadin? Which means, is it because pas is so chashiv, or it's nothing to do with the chashivas? It's because pas is a SEUDAH. The SEUDAH only gets one bracha. Anything that comes in Teichat SEUDAH, you don't make another bracha. Or it's not so much the fact that it's a SEUDAH. It's the vod that since pas is so much more chashiv than anything else, therefore pas patas. That means we know, like I just said, mezainis is more chashiv than eitz, and mezainis is more chashiv than adam, and mezainis is more chashiv than shaka. Okay, so why doesn't it pater? Why when I made a mezainis don't I make a bracha? Do I make a bracha on everything else? Because mezainis is not chashiv enough to pater the other things. That means it's chashiv, but with the limit. Let's make it like this. Shahakel is on the radar of 10. Hadama is on the radar of 20. Ha'etz is 30. Mezainis is 40% chashivas. Hamaitzi is 100. That means the difference between mezainis and ha'etz is 10. The difference between ha'etz and Adama is 10. The difference between Adama and Shahakel is 10. When you get to hamaitzi, it's so chashiv, it's so off the limits that this thing itself is going to go ahead and pat everything else. Or the pshat is nothing to do with the hamaitzi. This is a SEUDAH. A SEUDAH, you only make one bracha. You hear the clear Rabbi Black? Is it a SEUDAH or the pshat is that hamaitzi is so chashiv? Let's say an afkamina.
Makes a SEUDAH, not mezainis.
Right, mezainis doesn't make a SEUDAH. Mezainis is maybe similar to a SEUDAH, but it's not a SEUDAH. Lecha makes a SEUDAH.
The Rav is giving an afkamina in the chakira.
Yes.
Everybody got the, yeah.
You have the chakira? Simple chakira. Is it the pshat is, why do we say pas is everything? What's the pshat in that? Is the pshat is because pas is a SEUDAH, and once you only make one bracha on a SEUDAH, or the pshat is that pas has a maitzi to it, and a maitzi is such a chashav a bracha that this chashav a bracha you don't make, it's so much more powerful than every bracha, it's almost embarrassing that you make a shakel along with this. Mezainis and ha'etz aren't that much of a difference. It's chashav, but not that much of a difference. So now, let me try to bring you a raya to one way first. Agafen, does that pat the shamashkim? If you make agafen, not Teichat SEUDAH. The patas, right? Why? You don't have a SEUDAH? You hear Rabbi Reis? If you make agafen, you don't make a shakel, it's not Teichat SEUDAH. What's the teretz? Because it's such a chashav bracha. So I see from there that there is a mustik of a chashav bracha. Okay? So, now, or I could say a third time, but I'm not getting there yet. 1 second. So now, what will be an afkamina? Let's say by mistake I made a shahakel on this bread. Do I have to make now? I'm eating the SEUDAH. Do I have to go ahead and make a bracha on the cucumber? If it's a SEUDAH digadin, so I'm middle of a SEUDAH, so I don't make any bracha. I was the wrong bracha. L'maisa I'm yaitz shahakel on a bread. But if it's after bichas hamaitzi, so then I don't have a bichas hamaitzi, I made a shahakel. You hear the clear?
Yeah.
Everybody okay?
It's maskum. You're not maskum, Rabbi Reis? Halacha v'lay l'masa.
Even the pass, but because I didn't make the bracha, but it's still a double chashuv. The pass itself is a bracha.
So Rabbi Reis is talking like a real lamdan. The yeshiva bracha.
Why not? He is.
Okay, good. He's telling like this. He's claiming that, again, let's say over the Klal, and then we're going to say what he wants to say. We cleared, why don't I make a bracha when I made a bracha on Pas? Is it because it's a SEUDAH? In a SEUDAH you don't make brachas. Nothing else is a SEUDAH. Eat mezainis doesn't make a SEUDAH. Eat adama doesn't make a SEUDAH. Pas makes a SEUDAH. Everything along with it is tafel, whatever we want to call it. We'll see soon. But like upon him, I don't make a bracha on anything afterwards. Fine. All the pshat is that is the bichas hamaitzi that happens. And what does that mean? That since a bichas hamaitzi is such a chash of a bracha, you don't make any brachas along with that. That's such a chash of a bracha. We brought a little bit of a raya to that side because we see by Geffen, I make one second, we'll get to it. By Geffen, I make a Geffen, I don't make a bracha on mine. That's not a SEUDAH. So you see the bichas Geffen is so stark that it goes out and patters everything that comes along with it.
Who says? Yeah, okay, yeah. 3 years, okay. You say, yeah, very good. Hopefully we'll get to that. It's not so pashal halacha. It's some hold that even Kozman you make even less than a viz. The path is all the brachas. We pass. Yeah, now Rabbi Rees and someone over here, Rabbi Eliezer, I think it was, just texted a third side. That not that this is muchach and this class, right? Because it's not that the bichas hamaitzi is the path is the paiter to the other brachas. It's that hamaitzi is chashiv, so therefore path is other things. So if I made a shahakal on hamaitzi, that would also path. Even again, we said the nafkamina between the two tzadim would be. Now let's say someone went ahead and made a shahakal on pas. So if he went ahead and said the shahakal, so he didn't have a maitzi. So if the tzad is that it's a SEUDAH, l'maitzi yamel of a SEUDAH, you don't make any brachas. But if it's the bichas hamaitzi that's so chashiv, therefore I won't go ahead and make a bracha. I would make a bracha on a cucumber now, even though I'm eating bread. But since I made the wrong bracha on the pas, I made a shahakal. Therefore, I would go ahead and make other brachas teichas SEUDAH. Now, let me tell you first who says this pshat that the bracha is chashiv. The Meiri says, he says, so he says, he asks, why do I need this chiddush? You don't make a bracha. It's pashut ikapait as a tafel. Okay, I'll get that cash in a minute. But he says like this, V'zel Shina. V'hu she'amata v'im etvel koloima, sh'lo yinemu advar melech she'atvel bo amikra. Kol sh'lo yadayte elam v'tchilas achila, v'hu bo achakach ene b'chlal zeh, v'atem tzorech lepoite mitzad acha. That says that nothing to do with ikar v'tafel. The vote is that shahakol is nichlal, everything is nichlal. He says later on, everything is nichlal b'bichas hapas. 123, page 123. We're going to put up the 2 lines there if the Rav doesn't mind, because it's a little bit hard to follow without seeing it inside. 123, DEVARIM Masa Kol Ma'asher B'Arno, correct? Is that where it is?
Yes, I think so.
On the screen, you can see. So I think the Rav quoted the thing right before the dot.
Yeah.
Shekol Nichol B'Rachas Hapas.
Yeah, 2 lines before the dot, like 4 lines in. Right there. Aval and birch al pas petes komin in Michael ve'ein tzarich levarech al shum davar sheyehei loy ba sheyehei ba loy v'sech hasudim. Now he goes right. Also, which Shloshani is b'rak upon him. Mevarech al ikef v'loy la'achav shakol nichlal b'bichas hapas before the next dot. He says afal b'shlo yedaytel b'shas hamaitzi any time bracha loy lefanav v'loy la'achav. Yeah, you got it. Good. Shakol nichlal bebichas hapas. The achronim amadayik. What's he busy with the bichas hapas? Okay, yeah, no, more than that. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. 1 second. But why? Everything's nichlal in the SEUDAH. If the vart is SEUDAH, so everything's nichlal in the SEUDAH. What do I care? Bichas hapas. So the medayik and before so they in tzarich levarach al shum davar kol birch al hapas pas. If you ate pas, the SEUDAH part is it. The teretz is it's not the SEUDAH. It's the bracha that patters it. Now we're clearing, do I need the bichas hamoitzi or any bracha on pas that was made a mistake, a bichas hakel? So Rabbi Black was just medayik. He doesn't say bichas hamoitzi. He says bichas hapas. So any bracha that he made on pas, the chayyur should be pater. You like that deal, Rabbi Reese? Kenzan. Why isn't that such a good deal? Because that's normally what you make on pas. Usually you make that. So you don't, back upon him. So the Shiur Knesset Agdala writes, I'll read it to you. You don't have it. Afim oichel pas ein tzarich levarech the ein tzvar the acha she'ochal k'zayis rishon yivarech al hasheni ha'maitzi al hanifta b'chol ha'itza SEUDAH v'biches she'hakel she'amar. He says very clearly that it's not the bichas ha'maitzi. Any bracha you made on pas, it's going to become pater. You're not going to make another bracha teichas SEUDAH. Yeah.
So why is that like Rashi? Ikar and Tafel.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Or we could say that the pas is so chashiv, not al tzikah v'tafel. We don't have to come on to ikah v'tafel. We could say that the nakuda is that it's the pas that patters.
Not
so
like
now,
right. That's not like Rashi.
Right, exactly.
Rashi uses the word Ikar and Tafel, which the Rishonim say, well, it came my mashmein.
Right.
So that's classic Ikar and Tafel.
Yes.
This was different.
Exactly. So now let's start over again in a different angle. We started with a clear. What's the reason you don't make other brachas after I make hamaitzi? What's the reason for that? We know that we understand that's pashat given that hamaitzi is a chashav of bracha. Yes, but every bracha has a bracha above it that's more chashav. The shehakel has adama has eitz has a mezainis. So why? What's so special about this that we tell you that hamaitzi patters? So we should clear. Is the pshat is because it's SEUDAH, you don't make two brachas on a SEUDAH. Or the pshat is, not that you don't make two brachas on a SEUDAH. The pshat is that you don't go ahead and make a maitzi after such a chashav a bracha of a maitzi, you don't go ahead and make another brachas. It's so much more chashav that you don't make any other brachas. Now we're claiming, would that depend on a machlokes? If you made a shehakel on pas, do I make another bracha? If it's a SEUDAH digedin, I won't make another bracha. But if it's a maitzi digedin, then I'll make another. Now we're saying, Rabbi Reese is telling, no, it's a muchach. Because even if it's a bracha digedin, but it's the hamaitzi that pattered, we'll see. Yeah, it is the hamaitzi that went ahead and it's the pas that pattered, and it's not, pas is so chashiv, that pas patters everything. I don't care what bracha you made in the past, pas is so chashiv that everything becomes bottled to it. There's nothing else in it. Now, let me clear another shayla. The Beis HaRav, that was Menashe Klein's grandfather, I think, is a chashav tshuva sefer, and Chaim Siman Ayin Hey, he declares like this. Let's say, by mistake, you did not make a bracha on the pas. You didn't make a bracha on the pas. Am I mechuyev to go ahead and make a bracha on the carrot that I'm eating now? Am I mechuyev to make a bracha on the chalent?
What, you ate the bread without a
bracha?
You forgot?
I have no more bread. I'm not eating any more bread.
What? You don't have any pasta pater. You don't have the bracha to pater it.
Oh.
But maybe the SEUDAH paters it. Oh.
But I don't have any bracha. So what's the tzad? What's the tzad? So I didn't finish. 1 second. So now, that is no cloud. He says, if someone ate pas, he didn't make a maitzi. He doesn't want to eat pas anymore. He wants to eat other things, everything that's tough to the pas. He wants to eat the chicken, the potato, everything else. Should I go ahead and make a bracha, hamaitzi, on the chicken? What happened to this chicken? It became a maitzi, or it's a shehakel, just you don't make the shehakel. Which means the pas is the ikka, and the other object, the other food, is a tafel. What bracha comes on this? So he says, when I'm going to go ahead and maybe make a shehakel, that might be a bracha levatala. A bracha, it's the wrong bracha. Its bracha really is amaitzi, because it's a tafel to the bread. So now, what in the world? How could you have such a klal? Anything that we said makes this klal make sense? Right? Does this make any sense?
Yeah.
Why? Nothing that I said, Violet, that this would make sense. I'll tell you where it makes sense. It makes sense if you have a different reason to explain us different shot in the sugya, and that is Rashi.
But Ritva.
Yeah. That this sugya, I told you a clear SEUDAH or bread.
Right.
Let's say a third side. Ikka v'tafel, a regular ikka v'tafel digedin. Right? I have ikka, bread is ikka, the rest of the SEUDAH is tafel. Anything that's eaten together with the bread is a tafel to the pass. Now, do I make a bracha on the tafel? Now, the problem is that this sugya is so intertwined with the next sugya of ikka v'tafel that you really have to know a lot more than that. But let's try to do it a little bit bekitzer. When I have ikka and then I'm eating the tafel, I don't make a bracha on the tafel. That we all know. Yeah, you're eating for your breakfast, you're eating cereal and milk. I make a mezainis on the cereal. I don't make a shackle on the milk. That's given. Right? Why not? Tafel. Right? Now, let's say I just eat the milk. Do I make a mezainis on the milk? No. No, you don't. Maybe if it's at the end, you don't go ahead and make any bracha. But to say you make a mezainis on the milk, that's too big of a chiddush. When would I say maybe it switches the bracha? Someone just asked me today, the Shaila, almost an hour ago. He came over to me and asked me, let's say you have a fruit salad, cooked. Most of it is ha'etz. 65% ha'etz, 35% adama. Okay? What bracha do you make on this fruit salad? One bracha, ha'etz. Let's say, why? Because it's red. Let's say in your bowl, you have 65% adama, 35% ha'etz. You got punked in your bowl, mostly adama. Do I make a bracha adama or do I make ha'etz? You hear the shaila? Very negative shaila. In the fruit soup, there's mostly ha'etz. But what I got in my bowl is mostly adama. What bracha do you make? He told me he ran around to many places in town. Machlokes. Everyone said something else. Huh? Something else. And if you were smart, you said suffix. That's what happened to him. This is what he came over to me today. What do I hold? I told him, what I hold is, you make ha'etz. Since it got cooked, that's what this shame came. Rabbi Forsheimer told him, you make adama. What? Okay, that'll be what should I do? Say, but what is? You want to know what the bracha on this? You're not going to be ayvatak the way the bracha is. But you want to know what this bracha is? This bracha is ha'etz. That's what this thing is. Cooked together, you make ha'etz.
What's the difference? What he knows, really doesn't know.
No, he wants to know the guy that made adama. He sees in his bowl mostly adama. What's supposed to do? Yeah, where's he going? Okay, fine. And the different big Pesach told him the suffix, and then he went to another Pesach. Someone else said like me. Whatever, it doesn't make a difference. But anyways, so getting back to here, which means there's a tzad to say that this is a regular ikka v'tafel. That's how Rashi learns up the sugya. It's pashut, ikka v'tafel, and since it's ikka v'tafel, and that's what Taisus has all his kashas, we don't have time to go through it right now, but I'm sure you've seen it a little bit with the Shloimeh, that there's, Taisus says, what's the chiddush the whole sugya. But anyways, so Rashi starts off, it's pashut a tafel, and that's what we'll pass. So now, in Ikka Paites HaTafel, do I go ahead? What's the bracha of the tafel became a mezainis, whatever you were eating over there. The bracha came as the Ikka. And like that, why did I bring in this case? Because we're saying here that if the Ikka of this thing is eitz, now you're going ahead and you're eating the adama part of it, you'll still make eitz. when it's cereal and milk, it wasn't cooked together. But when something's cooked together, that's the bracha of this Michael. There's no two brachas to the Michael. Challenge. Mikadin, it's only one bracha. Mazanis. There's machlokes for. But Mikadin, there's one bracha. Might be it's such a large potatoes, and it's not called more in it. We'll get to them in Shema. We'll learn the sugya of Tafel. But really, it's one bracha. So therefore, this hamaitzi is the ikka, the SEUDAH. The rest of the food during the SEUDAH is a regular hamaitzi. Kalad the Beisharim, even if you didn't make a bracha hamaitzi, now when I want to go ahead and eat the rest, should I make a bracha? And what bracha do I make? Two sveikas. Should I make a bracha? What bracha do I make? So, he clears this. Now, like we said, that's pashut, you have to make a bracha. Nothing to talk about. The shaila is what type of bracha? The chedushim of biyurim. You know what that is? Do you know what chedushim of biyurim is?
No.
No? You know what it is.
Yeah, but we'd like you to explain it anyway.
Chedushim biyurim is Reb Chaim Greineman, Zecher Tzadik v'Kadosh L'Bracha. A nephew of the Chazon Ish. Murder Talmud Chacham. Yeah? So he writes, Yesval Magan Shas, he writes as follows. He says, this is totally in the Machlokes, Ramah, Magen Avram, Eichel, Tafel, Kaidim, Shenifta, Bebichas Ikka. If you ate the Tafel before you ate the Ikka, if you had the milk in the, you ever picked up a spoon of cereal and you ate the milk before you had the cereal? Sometimes that happens. Do I make a bracha shahakal on it or not? Zok Ma, you make a shahakal. The Magen Avram says, not. It's a machlokes Ramah and whatever you're eating over there. We're comparing with machlokes Ramah and Magen Avram. So he says that's what depends. So now, let's come back to our klai. When we're klaying now, when we're doing the sugya, and we're klaying, what's the paita of this bread to pata everything else in the SEUDAH? Is it the SEUDAH part or it's the bracha part? If it's the SEUDAH part, we can start hearing a little bit the Beis Sha'arim's clear that if the person didn't make hamaitzi on this bread, does he have to go ahead? Now he's eating the rest of the things. What bracha does he make? Or maybe he doesn't even make a bracha because he's a chelik in the SEUDAH. Big kiddush, not to make a bracha b'chlal, we said. Very hard to hear that. Or you don't say that, or you say that the nekuda is that Kolzman, I didn't make a bracha, it's the bracha that patters, let it be a shahakal. But I need at least a bracha to patter. The shahakal becomes like a bracha chashuva, or it's the bread that becomes, so therefore, I would have to go ahead and make a bracha. Let's clear a little bit weiter. The Shulchan Aruch in Simekuf Ayin Zayin Sif Dalet says as follows. Afal pi shelo yihayu aperis lefonov b'shah shabirich ala pas. Simekuf Ayin Zayin Sif Dalet. Kuf Ayin Zayin Sif Dalet.
Which sif?
He's getting this. Sif Dal. Oh, read it. Afal pi shelo yihayu aperis lefonov b'shah shabirich ala pas. You did not have the fruit in front of you while you made a bracha ala pas. Kivon de lalafis es apasein boim. Since it's coming to be malafis the pas, einam tu'unim bracha klal. It does not need a bracha at all. Okay? So the payers were not in front of you when you made the bracha ala pas.
No chiddush of you don't need lefanav.
Right? You don't need the fun of. Normally you need things the fun of. Here at the pata you don't need a pass. Why? Kivon de lalafis is a pasen boim. Einam tu'unim bracha klal. It's there. Lalafis is a pass. There's a sefer Berach es Avram that brings from the Maimon Mordcha that he says that even though we hold hamavarech ala ikka einay paites atafel only if it was in front of you, but pas pat is everything that's ba machmas asudah. Chiddush. Normally we tell you the ikka paites atafel, you need the food in front of you. Here you don't need it. Why? Oh, if it's a SEUDAH digadin, so it makes a lot of sense. Because this is part of my SEUDAH. Why do I need everything in front of me b'shas the SEUDAH? If it's an ikka paitas atafel, like Rashi, this doesn't stem. This would not be true. Because I don't have the tafel. The tafel's not here. If it's a bracha digadin, yesh lachka, how bracha works. But if it's a SEUDAH digadin, it's pashit that over there you won't need, very mistaber the din shachanach. You won't need anything in front of you. Because this is a chelik in the SEUDAH. The SEUDAH, you don't have to have the whole SEUDAH in front of you. That's pashit. So since you don't have to have the whole SEUDAH in front of you, so therefore, that would be enough to go ahead and say that it's pata, like the halach and shachanach, even though it's not there. Just a bechel pass. The Aruch HaShulchan, on the other hand, says in Siman Kuf Samach Zayin Sif Yud Aleph. You have the Aruch HaShulchan? Kuf Samach Zayin Sif Yud Aleph. Aruch HaShulchan.
You don't have the Aruch HaShulchan.
You don't have the Aruch HaShulchan?
He's going to call it up on the computer. It's not in the book.
It's not in the book.
The book weighed 20 pounds, so I couldn't do it. It's going to take a minute or two. The Rav should continue.
Okay. So the Aruch HaShulchan says, "Shetzorich shetavshel harishayin ba'asuda yeh lefonav be'ez bechas hamaitzi kedei shetifterenu bebracha." Murdig chiddush. The Aruch HaShulchan says, I need at least the first course should be in front of me b'shas the bechas hamaitzi. What's going on? Very passionate. Because the Aruch HaShulchan holds that my din of pattering is like an ikka v'tafel. It's a matter just like every ikka v'tafel I need it in front of me. I can't say, okay, I'm eating the tomato now. That's not such a good marshal. I'm eating the, oh yeah, the Aruch HaShulchan. Kuf Samach Zayin, Sif Yud Zayin. A little further down. Here you go, here you go. No. It's good we look. How about, maybe it's a mistake in my notes. How about Kuf Ayin Zayin, Sif Yud Aleph?
You want me to search for it?
No, yeah, he's on it, he's on it.
Looks like it.
This is more the red simon there. Oh, one second. You did Sif Yud Zayin before? Did it?
No, you had Zion. Look at Zion.
Oh, he did Sif Yud Zayin. I need Yud Aleph. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doing that to you. Go back to Simon Kuf Yud Zayin. Samach Zayin Sif Yud Aleph, not Sif Yud Zayin.
Samach Zion.
Yeah, that we did. It was the wrong. A little before, yeah. Sif Yud Aleph. Did I tell you before Sif Yud Zayin? What was there? Yeah, this is it. Okay, good. Here he goes. In the middle. V'atam. The kiva on the beches hamaitzi paiteres gam halefesh shel kol asuda tzrichin sheyil yifanav.
Line 5.
Line 5. In Sif Yud Aleph.
You got line 5. We'll get there in a second.
The kiva on the beches hamaitzi paiteres gam halefesh shel kol asuda. Oh, you got it. Tzrichin sheyil yifanav beis hamaitzi. You need it to be in front of you. See, he tells you very clear. The Aruch HaShulchan says that it has to be in front of you. And we're understanding it very clear what's the pshat, because that's ikka v'tafel digadin. And just like every ikka v'tafel, if it's not going to be in front of you, you're not going to pattern. So too over here, it's not in front of you, it's not going to pattern. When you eat cracker and herring, so if you're going to have, oh, you know what? Cracker and peanut butter, yeah? Herring is, pashtus, you make 2 brachos, even like v'tafel. Yeah, so you have a cracker, and then you have the peanut butter in the other room, and then you eat peanut butter by itself. You're not going to make a bracha. Ikka v'tafel so sting. The ikka v'tafel only it's in front of you. Therefore, the Aruch HaShulchan says that I need it in front of me. Even toich SEUDAH. You tell me it's a lavas as a pass, prove it. Eat it with the pass. If it's not here, It's not, I have to make another bracha. Masha'enke in the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch is going the way we explained in the other sheet is that it's a SEUDAH digedin. It's a chelik in a SEUDAH. I don't need the whole entire SEUDAH in front of me. To Memela, Zak the Shulchan Aruch, klar. You don't have to have the SEUDAH, the other, the lavas is a pass in front of me. Whatever is part of the SEUDAH is pata. Pata from a bracha.
People who eat food and people who eat the SEUDAH. Two different things.
Yeah. Right. Two different things. Yeah. Now, let's move on a little bit with this class, a little bit weiter. Let's say you decide, this happens to many. You come home for supper and you tell your wife, I don't know what brachas to make here. I'm done with this. I learned HaRav. I'm trying to be careful. I don't know what bracha to make. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little piece of bread, the size of this large, kazayas, and like this, and put the chemish. Does that part to you from the SEUDAH?
Without it wasn't a kazayas.
It was a kazayas, let's say a kazayas. But it's very little.
Was it there at the beginning? It was there.
Right away. I come home, I tell my wife, I don't know, you know what, let me make the case a little better. You're eating a filter fish, and you got masupik now, because you don't know, maybe filter fish is amitzi. They put in so much flour. Okay, you came out, that's a shaka. You're eating schnitzel. Schnitzel with a challah crust, and your wife doesn't fry. You're over 30 and she stopped frying. So what does she start doing? She bakes it. So there's no shini in the Tzuras HaPas. So now, you have challah crust on a schnitzel. You're very mesupik. I learned the sukkah. I don't know, maybe you make a maitzi. You know what? I'm going to make a maitzi on a small piece of bread, and that's it. Pat zachal. Now, you have cheshik with that bread, like I have cheshik now to eat a piece of bread. Like you have cheshik to eat shalt on Tuesday, you have cheshik with that piece of bread. You have absolutely no cheshik to eat bread now. But you know what? I want to pat myself from all the brachas. Does that work or not? Good, Claire? Very nikeya. Most of our SEUDAHs that we're washing, not Shabbos. You have no cheshik. You come to Chasen, yeah? Okay, you'll wash, and you put down a quarter of the bilkala. Because you have no cheshik to wash. You figure, you know what? Oh, there's SEUDAH's mitzvah, you're tzat. Okay, fine, you're washing. Does that pat to me the rest of the pass? The rest of the meal? Oh no! Who closed the shaila? The Magen Avraham and Simon Kuf Ayin Zayin Sivkat and Aleph. Look at this Magen Avraham. Very important to see inside.
Okay, Kuf Ayin Zayin Aleph.
Kuf Ayin Zayin Sivkat and Aleph. There you go. Nearly a few words in.
Top line.
Dem ein chafetz lechel pas. V'oichel ma'at pas. U'mevarech alav. Hamaitzi ein poiter macholim. We think we're being so safe, and I spoke this out a few times, but bekitza. Okay, when Mesubik the brachas, you have to wash in the beginning of the day. You're washing has to be that the pshat is it's coming to do with it. I'm finished. Therefore, Zok the Magen Avraham nearly, if you don't want it, now,
it's called ma'at pas. The slice is ma'at pas.
You're just doing it to you. It's not, it's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm going to explain in a minute. Let's go a little bit further in that Magen Avraham, a few lines down. Oh, one second, let's read straight. Okay. The Halay Kamel Kev Chizdam pass by the coming El Dafka because Veya Sudasa El pass. I mean the Cholam Cholam Machman's a pass and done. Aber Kshein Chofetz Lechel pass ain't a paite. The Kolshkin and Michael Pachas from the Kazayas. Kolshkin if you're eating less than the Kazayas, that's push. The Evshalayma Kiva on the Derech Lekvoya Suda Aleim a pass by Josan. Since that's the Derech, pass by Josan V'tzorchiyim. L'chein le'yivarech aleim v'le'al ha'pas and le'i b'shabbos v'yantos. Don't do this. Don't go home tonight and say, you know what? I don't know what bracha to make. I'll just go ahead and take a slice of matzah because it's a matzah, pat me up. That's not a free pass. I have to go ahead and have a reason that I want to eat pass. Now, yeah, very clear. Now, let's take the Magen Avraham a little clearer. Let's see what he says. Im ein chofetz lecha lesapas v'oichel ma'at pas. What does that mean? Is that the case that I said or not? I said a case. You don't know what bracha to make on the on the squash. You don't know what bracha to make on this. You don't know what bracha to make on the schnitzel. Okay, let me eat pas. Is that the Magen Abraham's case? Yep. What do you say? What do you say, Rabbi Zali?
Absolutely not.
Whoa, that's pretty strong the other way.
Why? I mean, well, first of all, the Magen Avraham is telling you that he's telling you that it's not pass. It's not the Seudah can pass.
So let me give you a few mishalim.
Are we working with this Magen Avraham in that shita?
You were on the Magen Avraham shita. I want to know if this case that someone came home from and he doesn't know what brachas to make. He decides he's eating pass. Is that the Magen Abraham's case?
It's Magen Abraham's case.
Pashtus. Yeah.
What
do you mean like you wash? What are you talking about? You wash. What do you mean like SEUDAH? You wash and you're SEUDAH. Of course you had to wash. But why isn't that a SEUDAH?
So the Adam over here is fighting the people online on Zoom. The Adam's fighting over here. Is this the Magen Avraham case or not? Pashtus. The Adam over here is saying that's the case of Magen Avraham, and that's okay. Now let me tell you, it's machlokes, like everything else. The Even HaOizer in Simcha Kufay and Dal, it says, Lanias daiti pashatu the pass poite hakar. V'chei mashma, Tais is fine. He says, but v'tziva aram v'aram mesupik kviyasa kviyas v'acha maitzi harei d'le'acha me'alechem. He's talking about this this thing that we speak about, this Nilish on Purim, the Tais brings down. And he says, harei d'le'acha me'alechem yakbilecha v'maitzi v'kavas v'dasa al Nilish v'afilu achi poite kol advarim v'atam kivon d'roiv v'amim bo ha'pas l'kviyas SEUDAH loy plug chachamim. It says, he's learning the suffix of the Magen Avraham is you don't want to eat a lot of pas. You want to eat a little bit of pas. But you want to eat pas. But I don't want to eat a lot of it. So on that he says that over there, he says it would pattern, like plug. But let's say I don't want to eat any pas. I'm just doing it for a bracha, no tzad in the world that's a pattern. It's I don't want to eat a lot of pas. That's how he learns it. I don't see this in the words of the Magen Avraham, but that's how he learns from the Magen Avraham. The Mishnah Berurah in Sifkat and Gimel says very clear, Kivan shelo yechafetz b'achilasai. You did not want to eat it. So that's our case. You didn't want to eat it. You taka didn't want to eat it. Or you could learn up. The Mishnah Berurah is talking about a case where you got forced. So what's the halacha? Pashtus in the Mishnah Berurah, it's mashma, it does not patter. And you come home, you thought you had the best steaks in the world, you're washing every night supper, you're eating this little bread because your wife's going to be very upset if you eat more than that, because she paid a whole supper for you. Pashtus, the Mishnah Berurah holds it doesn't patter.
Like the Magen Avraham.
Magen Avraham is not 100% because I told you some others learn the Magen Avraham different. But yeah.
How could you learn the Magen Avraham different?
Even when you do it, because you won't eat just a little, you're not carrying it.
Yeah.
But everyone is loyal in this case that you only eat it because of the broth
So let me tell you like this: the Magen Gibarim. You know what the Magen Gibarim is? Shalom Eshev? I think it's Shalom Eshev, right? I think the Magen Gibarim is Shalom Eshev.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, right?
We had in the whole story with the machine matzahs.
Oh yeah, Magen Gibarim is Shalom Eshev. He says like this. He says the suffix in the Magen Avraham is dafka ba'ifin shaloi ha'isa kavanatzer lahed lifta shai machalim. But if you ate a little bit past the pat of the machalim, about that works.
So it didn't kavanah. It just didn't have the right kavanah.
Yeah. I have a problem. Because the Sha'atzian, you should go to the Mishabur. The Sha'atzian is Dalid, in the Safek of Magen Avram, he brings the Graz and the Magen Gibayim.
Where's the Sharatzi?
Is Dalid.
I'm saying I'm looking for it. I can't find it on the page.
Oh, he's right here. Go find Zion. He's Dalid. Magen Avram, yeah, he went too far. Right there. He's going too far.
I don't see the Sharatzi.
Right, I see it. Sha'atzian, he's making a yellow. He's find Zion. Oh, he's Dalid. Magen Avram, v'chayodim, v'agraz, u'magen gibayim. I don't know, he went too far. No.
Then he brings the Ebenezer.
Yeah, he brings the Magen Gibayim. So we learned Klal in the Mishnah. Again, what's negated to us, what we're dealing with now is if someone went ahead and ate a little bit of pas. Now, let's say like this. What we would say is like this. It's totally in the clear that we're clearing the whole time. If it's a SEUDAH, don't tell me this little pas is making a SEUDAH. If it's a Maitzi, the Maitzi made a Maitzi. Let's clear a little bit more. The reason why you're eating this pas is because it came from a Rebbe. Shirayim. Does that have any chashivas to it or not? Is that, you tell me that's the SEUDAH? No. So therefore, that would be a Claire, does that go ahead and pattern? Now, the Magen Avram, Claire's, he says, if you eat less than a kazayis, that for sure doesn't pattern. Now, the Dogam Mervava on the spot, you should have it on the side of Shulchan Aruch. Sorry, it's not here. It's on Kuf Samach Zayin on the Magen Avram Sif Cotton Zayin. I'll read you what he says because it's late.
You made Dogam Mervava.
Dogam Mervava, yeah.
Of course it's here. It has to be here.
Oh, you have it? No, it's a Kuf Samach Zayin, but it's the wrong
Who
syllable.
said we have it?
Yeah, I'm sure you have it. I just don't want to.
Which ice?
On the Magen Avram Sif Cotton Zayin.
12. Okay, it's here on page. It's here on page 2.
Kuf Samach Zayin.
160. No, 161 on the left. 161 on the left side. The Dogam Mervava and the Kaivitz Mefarshim under the Chasam Sofer. Havada. You see the Rav sees it on the bottom left?
I didn't get to it.
Havada. Machasiyala.
Oh, that's it.
This is it?
Yeah, that's it. So he says, Ikal and Meima.
My entire Machgresa. There we go.
Ikal and Meima, the fourth line from the bottom. Shem ochal b'shas hamoitzi pochas mikazayis ein achila zu chashuva sheyiger achav ma sheyochel achkach lepoiter min habracha.
Why is it such a chiddush?
Because if you learn the pshat is that it's the bechas hamoitzi, I don't care how much you eat. He's saying very clearly the reason why it doesn't pater is because it's not achila chashuva. Now,
because he's using greira. And greira needs an afilich shuva to be greira something after it.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're making a sikkum on what we spoke about, Rabbi Black, today. So let's.
You want to explain this particular here?
Yes, we're gonna just make a sikkum, and there's a lot more to speak about, obviously, but we're gonna make a sikkum on what we spoke about because the time has passed already. We started off with the sugya that the Gemara on the Mem Aleph Amud Beis says that we know that Bechas HaMaitzi paters Dvarim Haba Machmas HaSEUDAH. Now, the question was why does Bechas HaMaitzi pater? How does it pater? And we really said two tzadim and we added a third. Either the way Rashi learns, it's regular Iker V'Tafel, or we said that it's the SEUDAH that paters, which means the reason why it's more special than a mezainis when you're eating a mezainis and adama is because mezainis doesn't make a SEUDAH. Hamaitzi is a SEUDAH. Bread is a SEUDAH. We said a third side that it's that bracha of hamaitzi it's bread that's so much more chashiv than anything else that therefore it patters. But that means one side was Ikar v'Tafel, that was Rashi. The other two tzadim are, is it the SEUDAH that patters, or it's the bread that patters? We cleared, if I didn't make hamaitzi on the bread, I made a shahakal on the bread. Would that pattern? If it's the SEUDAH, what do I care what bracha you made on the bread? It's a chelik of this SEUDAH. That bracha worked for the bread, it works for everything else. If it's the bichas hamaitzi that patters, so I didn't have a bichas hamaitzi. Then we added one nakuda that even if it's the bichas hamaitzi and I made a shahakal, but maybe it's the bread of the, it's not so much the bracha of hamaitzi, it's the chashivas of the bread versus anything else. Now, what that wasn't so negei l'maisa. What more negei l'maisa came up with this Magen Avraham suffix. When someone goes ahead and eats a little bit of bread, does that patter the rest of the SEUDAH? Clearly, he's eating this bread not for to be shaft that this should be a SEUDAH, because he's only eating a little bit. Amol the days, Amol, the Ikar SEUDAH was the bread. Today it's not like that. Today you eat a little piece of bread, the bread is gone. Your wife takes it off, she doesn't want you to get calories on this bread. Let's start with the healthy stuff. Right? And we said even better. If someone goes ahead and he's mesupik in the bracha, so he goes ahead and washes, he eats a little piece of bread, we're talking about again more than a kazayis. Does he make a bracha on the things that come to SEUDAH? Or no, he ate bread, he made a mitzvah. The Magen Avraham is mesupik in this. And the Magen Avraham passes machriya that it doesn't work. We cleared, is the Magen Avraham talking about our case, or the Magen Avraham is talking about that the guy doesn't want to eat bread b'chlal and he's being forced to eat. We said from the Mishabur is mashma, our case. He's not looking to eat bread, he's just doing it out to bracha, it won't pattern. Now we're very worried with this psak, but the psak is a psak. The Mishabur tells us you don't want to eat the bread and you're eating it for a different purpose.
Well,
why? We said a marshal is the pattern. It does not pattern. Catch 22. The guy went ahead and that was matar at the pattern. Still doesn't work. Yeah? So we're coming out today. Allah l'maisa. You thought you fadin. You thought you gained. I don't know brachas. I'm going to eat bread. It helped you nothing. You made a bracha of vatal on the bread, and you have to make a bracha on everything else that you're eating. You know what's going on here, Rabbi Rees? Not a bracha, but I'm saying, you didn't gain anything. That's what we're coming out. We said it's a machlekes, and we said the pshat is the only reason why it patters is because that's making a SEUDAH. It's not making a SEUDAH. If a bibichas hamaitzi, then maybe it should work. But over here, it's a SEUDAH. And that's what we said that Shulchan Aruch holds, not like the Aruch HaShulchan. You need a bench. Yes, you do need a bench because you ate a share. You can't get out of that. But that's not enough to patter the other brachas. Now, let's just be meisif. The Shulchan Aruch is mavur like that. And Simcha Kavayin Zayin Siv Dalet. He says over here, you went ahead and you don't need the other machalim to be on the table. B'shas made a maitzi. So we explained it very well because it says SEUDAH. Anything that's a SEUDAH doesn't need the bracha. So if the Shulchan Aruch goes with SEUDAH, the Mishabur tells us clear, eating a little piece of bread doesn't shaf SEUDAH. Therefore, we're telling you that if someone wants to say, I'm eating this because I want to pattern the other food, it doesn't work. What should you do? Eat a nice portion of bread, take a whole matzah, eat the matzah, and then continue on with your chicken. Your intended was the patter, but l'maitz, I'm getting full on the bread also. So therefore, that would go ahead. The pattern, that's a very wichtige halacha that we're coming out. Yom Gimel Parshas in America. Shlach.